and welcome to this week's edition of the Waldorf Weekly News. Today, the US has just confirmed that BP actually does, in fact, suck. After weeks and weeks upon months of the Gulf being covered with this nasty slick of oil which has destroyed everything down there, BP officially stinks. And in Maine politics, Paul LePage has just been sworn in as the first French-Canadian governor.
Also in news this week, possible Waldorf Olympics. The first Waldorf Winter Olympics may be happening in the upcoming weeks. Events to be announced. So stay tuned, and we will see if we can get you some coverage of that.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of the Waldorf Weekly News section, and goodbye.
Good morning! Welcome to Leif's Corner. This week we're going to talk about chicken, and mashed potatoes, and Thanksgiving, and cranberry sauce, which is ridiculous. It's made out of cranberries, and it tastes like cranberry. And you're eating your chicken, and it's with rosemary. And you're like, good chicken, rosemary, nice flavors. And all of a sudden, cranberry! Chicken, cranberry! It's just cranberry, cranberry, cranberry. And I don't know why people like cranberry sauce so much. Jellied whole, it's just ridiculous! Floss twice a day!
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Cooking in the Waldorf Weekly. Here we're going to be doing ants on a log. Here are 3 ingredients: celery, peanut butter, raisins. Here we have 2 fine pieces of celery. Now what we're going to want to do is to cut the ends off them using a sharp knife, leaving us with the nice centerpiece for our log. So now we have 2 nice pieces, and I even like to cut them in half again. So there we are. We have 4 nice pieces of celery. The next step is to fill the celery with peanut butter. There we are, just like that. Now our 4 pieces of celery are filled with peanut butter. We're going to take our raisins, and we're going to put a few on each one. I like to do 3. So I'm going to just put them on here. And as you can see, that looks very pretty. So there we are. Not exactly like real ants on a log, but pretty close. That's it for this week's cooking episode.
Welcome to Tyler's Music Emporium. We've got a broad range of any musical instrument you could ever ask for. We've got violins, guitars, African drums, and here this week's new deal. You could have 1 violin, and I'll throw you in this pair of spoons. Now that deal, let's hear it, folks. This is only $49.99 for the violin and the spoons. And remember, at Tyler's, it's always cheap.
Welcome to the Waldorf Weekly Sports Update. Lunch football at the high school has restarted, and so far the score is 4-0. The team Cyrus Jeremy Phineas is up 4 points. The team Wyatt, Connor, Tyler has not yet scored, but they have come close several times. The basketball team is working hard in preparation for their student-faculty basketball game. The skiers were to have their first race on Wednesday of this week, but due to poor snow conditions, it was cancelled. They will have their first race, however, on Saturday. Their practices at Pineland have also been going well, even though snow conditions aren't great. And I hear that it's hard work, but it's still a lot of fun. So good luck to them. And I believe that's all there is for the sports update this week.
Hello and welcome to the 3rd episode of Interviews with Brian. My guest today is Hadi Jacobs. Now, as before, we're going to ask you some simple questions, but try to answer them calm and creatively, and don't treat it like it's a big deal. Firstly, what do you eat most often for breakfast?
Ramen noodles. Yep.
Often? Like, when would you say often? Like, how many days a week or days a month?
Two to three times a week.
Very nice. Do you enjoy ramen noodles?
I really enjoy ramen.
Very nice, very nice. Nextly, mention some incidents when you laughed yourself out.
Well, on New Year's Eve, I watched a man bite off another man's ear, and I thought it was pretty ironic that I was in that situation.
That is quite ironic.
Yes.
Was the man wounded for a long period of time? Or was he just...
I don't know. He seemed quite upset.
I would be if I lost my ear. If you were given a chance to travel in time, where would you go and why?
Probably the 1920s, because their Coca-Cola was green.
Yes. Who wouldn't want to go there? And lastly, if Hollywood made a movie about your life, who would you like to see in the lead role?
Oh no. Probably a male figure. Probably
Really?
like Johnny Depp.
That could be quite interesting. Yes.
I think so.
Definitely. Well, Hadi Jacobs, everyone. Thank you for another exciting round of interviews with Brian.
Hi there. The word of the week this week is nottage. Nottage. It is a noun, and the definition of it is the collective name for things which you find a use for immediately after you've thrown them away. Now, an example of this would be, I used to have a lot of cardboard and large spool of ridiculous looking red thread that I kept in the shed outside, and one day I decided, you know what, I don't need this stuff, it's been sitting in there for years, I'm going to throw it out. So you bring it to the recycling center, and you put the spool of thread in the swap shop. And then, within 24 hours, you realize you need to take a big parcel and wrap it and to send to somebody. But then you remember, oh, good, I have some cardboard and some thread in the... Anyway, that's the word of the week. Nottage. Nottage.
Stolen!
No rubber chicken! Ladies and gentlemen, because there is no rubber chicken, there will be no skit this week.
On this week's Useless Facts section, I'll have 6 facts. Maine is the only state whose name is just one syllable. On an American $1 bill, there is an owl in the upper left-hand corner of the 1, encased in the shield, and a spider hidden in the front upper right-hand corner. The plastic things on the end of shoelaces are called aglets. The microwave was invented after a researcher walked by a radar tube, and a chocolate bar melted in his pocket. Babies are born without kneecap bones. They don't appear until the child reaches 2 to 6 years of age. And lastly, turtles can breathe through their butts. This has been the Useless Facts section of the Waldorf Weekly.
Hi there, exercisers. This week, we're going to do a little step called the salsa step. So here we go. We're just going to do step 1, 2, 3, step 1, 2, 3, and punch, and 1, and punch, and 1, and punch, and 1, and punch, and punch, and punch, and punch, and punch. Here we go, you can do this now. Okay, now this is a really good exercise to increase your stamina and your flexibility, and also relax your entire system. So, exercisers, this is the move. Now, it's your turn to go home and practice.
Hello and welcome to the Waldorf Weekly section of Gossip. Take it away, Gossip Gangster.
Well, this week, our lowerclassmen are all sporting leather boots with heels. We try to support them in their fashion choices even if they are a bit tipsy.
The 11th grade has generally been seen wearing plaid, except for this week, Tyler has preferred to match his multicolored sweaters with his shoes.
John Burgess wins Most Famous Person of the Week for responding to 3 questions in front class.
It has come to our attention that we have a few members in the ski team that have been using antibiologic steroids. Their names will not be mentioned, but Hadi and Sierra are questioned.
No, Phoebe is not going... Never mind. Go ahead.
The amount of wool sweaters worn by men in place of large t-shirts has reached a maximum value of 87% this week.
Benjamin's beard has grown to 0.0036 inches in the past week.
Sophia Simmons' tooth hygiene continues to be in question as how she keeps them so white.
And Leif would like to recommend crushed bananas for a satisfactory lubricant for stingy doorknobs.
And Becca's hair is still red.
Thank you for joining us.
And that looks like it's it for another exciting episode of the Waldorf Weekly. But before we go, a shameless plug. If you have a YouTube account, please go to www.youtube.com/WaldorfWeekly, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Next week, a polygamist hobgoblin commune, a reserved assault crisp. Find it all out on Waldorf Weekly. Thanks, folks.